Yeah, I'm still having a bit of a heart attack from that free kick at the end, but United, with a second half turnaround, we deserved the win. We deserved absolutely sweet FA from that first half performance, but from the second half performance, we deserved it. It felt like set pieces were going to be United's only real threat in the second half, and it's exactly what happened. But we scored both. We won away at Crystal Palace for the first time in, 5 years? And, oh, man, after that first half, it felt like United were losing every battle, set up in the same system as Glasner's Palace, losing every duel. The ball wasn't sticking to Zirkzee. We didn't have overlapping wingbacks. We didn't have anything we could play through the middle. But the second half came around, and I tell you what, did United actually get an advantage from only playing once a week? Maybe in that second half, because Palace, they went down a couple of notches. United went up. I'll be honest, United went up to the notch they should have been in the first half. Again, I'll speak about the overall performance. You know what I want to focus on here to begin with, right? This is a stumbling season from everybody in this entire league apart from Arsenal. And United have stumbled into 6th. United, on 21 points, are looking pretty decent in the grand scheme of how the league is shaping up. Did I see a performance there from United overall that's going to change things? That second half, conversations. Zirkzee, right? For all the frustrations I've had watching him against Everton, and then in the first half against Palace, goes and scores from a ridiculous angle with a fantastic goal. Credit to him. That bit of individual quality was a spark that United needed in that second half. And then the second goal was just a bit of smart play. Palace weren't focused, weren't concentrated. The wall was quite poor, but it was a nice little pass out from Bruno and a good finish from Mount. And United held on. And that win will be big for Ruben Amorim. I don't know what was said at halftime. I don't know what do you think switched at halftime? Because it felt like a different United came out in that second half. I really don't think that the high press is something that we can consistently do, and I don't even know if you need to in the modern game. Not in the same way you need to do a couple of years ago. But United were just better overall as a team. Individually, we were winning the duels. We were first to the second balls far more than we were in the first half. I'm telling you, all season long we have been winning first halves and losing second halves. It was the total opposite there today. United got absolutely trounced in that first half. But the second half, we came out on top. And the 3 points is kind of all that matters, really, right now. Look, Bruno came up with 2 assists in that game. The more the season goes on, the more frustrated I get with Bruno playing deeper. All right? It won't ever work. And if I'm looking at that game there today, and I'm looking at that midfield, I'm looking at Adam Wharton. Those sort of line-breaking passes. Just like, that crisp first-time passes that aren't just like honed into nothing. It was like exactly to Mateta's for me. Mateta was causing us problems every single time the ball went up to him. From a system perspective, United really struggled today because we didn't have, we can speak about Zirkzee. I want to speak about the wingbacks, really. To be fair, Luke Shaw probably had a pretty damn good game, if I'm being honest. But we weren't getting Ahmad in the right position. We weren't getting Mbeumo in the right position. Feels like that's happened in a couple of games in a row now, where Mbeumo, who for me is our most dangerous, of course he is our most dangerous attacker, we're just not getting him the ball in the right positions. Very frustrating. I don't really know what changes, if I'm being honest, between now and the end of this, well, maybe January, I suppose, but not really in January either. How do we change the fact that these wing-backs, as it stands, it's not working? And it's making us far too predictable. We're playing it out from the back. Yoro, by the way, really, really clumsy today. Can I just have a little minute here to say congratulations to Lisandro Martinez, man. Seeing him come off the bench, I want him back in this starting 11 when he's fit and when he's ready. And the club has been waiting and waiting and waiting. And he came off the bench and he had 10 minutes. Luke Shaw, as I said, was pretty damn good. He started every game this season. I really am wanting to see Luke Shaw play left wing back and Martinez at left centre back. If we're talking about how things might shift and how things might change, that might be a change that Ruben Amorim can do. But the midfield kind of just got played through today. The first half, we were talking about what's the response going to be after the Everton game. We were going into the Everton game going, well, we played against 10 men. There was no intensity whatsoever. Did the fact that Crystal Palace played against Strasbourg on Thursday night in the Europa Conference League, did that help us? It may well have done, but I do think United kind of forced the issue. You got that moment of quality from Zirkzee, the moment of quality from Bruno and from Mount. And those two goals shifted the momentum of that game. And then after that point, everything felt a little bit easier. You know what really annoyed me as well? I say I'm a bit unfair. Not really. Casemiro, I think, could have scored within the first minute. I think he'll look back at that and go, yeah, I really should have just scored that. And it's a bit like our best away well, it was, of course. Winning at Anfield, we scored in the first minute, and it just settled the nerve. It settled, and United looked far better as a team when we were 2-1 up. Far better. I suppose, obviously, teams look better when they're winning, Sam. That's kind of how it goes. I'll be honest, there's a big part of me that's relieved after that game. What I saw in the first half, there's so much that still needs to be worked on. There's so much to do with the levels, the individual levels, the team levels, the fact that we weren't into the second balls. We weren't just doing it as a collective unit in the first half. Man to man, Palace were just better than us in pretty much every single position. And as a team, therefore, they were in a better position than we were. But United came away from Selhurst Park, a ground we've not won in 5 years. Honestly, if we'd gone into that game with 4 wins on the spin, I'd still be worried that United aren't going to get the result there. It's been a tough place for us to go for a long time. We were 1-0 down. It didn't really feel like the spark was going to come from anywhere, but it came from set pieces. And I'm happy about that. I'm frustrated at the lack of attacking threat that we're having from open play right now. I'm frustrated that we still just... You can turn up and then you can turn off, and you still can't guarantee that United are going to be competitive against every single opposition, no matter if you've had an extra week off or 2 weeks off. It doesn't really matter at all. The other teams played on Thursday night and you haven't. You can't rely on this United team to be competitive. In the first half, we weren't at all. And in the second half, God knows what was said at halftime. Was it Palace being a little bit fatigued from... We were significantly better in the second half. And it wasn't just the goals, it was the overall application on and off the ball from the team. Bruno got man of the match. I think that's pretty fair. But we've got West Ham on Thursday at Old Trafford, all right? I'm not even going to speak about bloody opportunities here or there. That was a tough game there today. It looked like we were going to lose 2-3-0 after that first half. They turned it around, and credit to them for that. And that puts us, right now, in a very healthy 6th position in the league. I'll take that.